And Fast Friday on Fox Sports 1, presented by Alka-Seltzer. And it's definitely going to be fast for Nationwide Series knockout qualifying. It will be the first attempt at this type of qualifying on a superspeedway. We tried it earlier at Daytona, weren't able to get through all 3 rounds. But here are the rules of qualifying. Round 1, the fastest 24 are going to advance into round 2. They get a 5-minute break in between the rounds. The fastest 12 advance to round 3. We will determine our pole winner in that 3rd round. Now let's go trackside to Bob Dillner.
18-year-old Chase Elliott, the point leader. 2 wins and a 2nd place finish in the last 3 races. But are you ready and prepared for this type of qualifying at Talladega?
I don't know. It should be really exciting. This Nationwide Insurance Series has put on some good, I feel like, knockout qualifying so far this year. So I don't expect this to be any different. If anybody saw Daytona, it was pretty wild. So I expect this to be very similar. I just hope we can still be rolling here at the end of this deal.
First time at Talladega for Chase Elliott. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Bob, Brian Scott started first at Richmond, but this is Talladega. It's going to be very different. What's your expectations for today's knockout qualifying?
Hopefully it's a little more calm than it was at Daytona. It was pretty wild at Daytona, and there was a couple chances. I thought that our Shore Lodge Camaro might end the qualifying session on the hook or something like that, but we made it through. I don't know. I don't know what's going to be the fastest way. I feel like I know the way to get to the 2nd round, but then you get to the 2nd round and you lose half the field, so then the draft and what will work will become different, and then after you make it past that, you're going to lose half of those people that are still left, and then it'll become a whole different deal. We'll see. It should be exciting for the fans to watch, and hopefully we can get the right suck and drafting situation to get this Camaro a good starting spot.
All right, good luck to you. That's Brian Scott. Let's go back down pit road to Bob Dillner.
Casey Kane has been around for a while, but are you prepared, and did you ever expect to be doing anything like this in qualifying at Talladega?
I mean, I watched Daytona, so that's as prepared as I am. It's going to be interesting. Great to be in the Great Clips car and, driving for Junior Motorsports again. I've watched them all season long. They've all ran really well. And I'm glad to be in the car, and we'll see what happens. We're going to just try to get together and see if we can't push each other around and get a good lap and go to the next round.
There'll be a little strategy here today. Ray, Casey Kane, 3rd last year in the Nationwide Series at Talladega.
And Bob, Brendan Gaughan has jumped in his South Point race car. RCR car is always fast when we come to this kind of racing. Do you have a team plan?
There is a team plan for qualifying. We did do the Nationwide Series, did qualify at Daytona, and it was probably the wildest thing I've ever done in a race car. It was pretty impressive. So we have a little bit of a plan. Whether it works or not, hey, good luck. But all 3 RCR Chevys should be quick, so we do have a little bit of a plan.
All right, back to Bob.
Bubba Wallace trying to make his first nationwide start here at Talladega. I want to know, with this new type of qualifying here, what's the strategy going to be like for you here at Dega?
I don't know. I've never done it. We're all having game plans and whatnot to see what we're going to do. And I'm just like, okay, tell me where I need to be, and I'll just hold it wide open. That's what we're going to do. So we got a really, really good Toyota Camry. It's fun to be back here, although it's kind of nerve-wracking because the replay of what happened in the truck race is coming back in my mind. So I'm trying to throw that out and go out here and have a good, solid weekend. So it's been fun so far. Limited amount of practice. It's changing each and every time. Less and less practice at the speedways. So got to get used to that. It's been so long since I've been driving anything. I'm ready to just drive the whole amount of practice, everything in qualifying. So we'll have a good weekend.
About a month since he last sat behind the wheel of a race car, 2nd at Martinsville in the Camping World Truck Series, Ray.
Bob, the first race of the year at Daytona, Dylan Kwasniewski was truly a rock star. How about that segue? How do you repeat what you did down there in Daytona, and how tough will it be here at Talladega?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about strategy for sure. I mean, gonna hook up with our teammates, some other cars as well. Hopefully have a good pack, but I was just in the right place at the right time, I guess, at Daytona, and we got a good lap. But hopefully it'll be good here, and we can have some speed.
All right, guys, I'm hearing a theme down here, the word teammate coming to play.
Yeah, Ray, drivers strap at this qualifying session, the first 25-minute session coming up next. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. We're underway with NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying. Drivers are strapping into their cars before they get too tight in there. Let's go back to Bob Dillner.
Sam Hornish Jr. strapping in behind the wheel of the 54 for the first time this year. All right, this drafting type qualifying here. What can you expect, and what is the game plan?
I think that the best thing that I can expect right now is that just work with my teammates to the best of my ability. probably try to stick to the back of the 11, let him make the decisions for this first round, and really just figure out where we stack up as far as the 3 cars go together. It's a lot different than anything I've ever had before here, but just super excited to be in this Monster Energy number 54 car. It's been a long time waiting to be able to get in here, so I'm looking forward to it. A great place to start because it gives me a lot of opportunity to get to work with these guys in a little bit lower stress environment until, obviously qualifying in the race.
Rick, everybody is scratching their heads, wondering what's going to happen.
Well, we're about to find out what is going to happen. Welcome, everyone. Rick Allen alongside Jeff Hammond and Phil Parsons as we get ready for this first session of qualifying for the Nationwide Series at Talladega Superspeedway. We want to remind you that we tried this qualifying at Daytona, but it got rained out midway through. So some people that said, like Brendan Gaughan said, oh, we've been through this before, they haven't been through the full session yet. Normally in qualifying, it's one car out there, and we try to find out who the fastest is. But, Jeff, that's not the case here. You need teammates. You need people to help you.
You need all the help you can get. We always talk about dance partners when it comes to super speedway racing. Well, here, you've already heard the guys talking about, yeah, we got a game plan. We got our teammates we're going to try to work with. Yes, they do, but it takes more than just 3 or 4 cars to really make it work here at Talladega or any super speedway. So you'll look for these guys to try to get out behind some other big pack and use their draft to pull up on them and lay down that fast lap, which hopefully will get them in that top 24 and get them in that second round. That's what everybody's gunning for right now, but we've already been pretty much figured out, Phil. A lot of guys don't know what's going to happen or how it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I think the big unknown right now, I talked to a lot of the crew chiefs in the garage here, and they have a plan, just like Brendan Gaughan was telling us. They're going to get with our RCR teammates and maybe a few other cars that are affiliated and go out there and try to run, but they want to get behind another pack. But a lot of the guys I talked to said, we really don't know what's going to happen. We know we're going to go out with our teammates, and then beyond that, we don't know what's going to happen because we need a pack to run up on. That's when you see the big number. That's when you see those big speeds, is when you can catch another pack, especially if they get 2 or 3 wide in front of you. Then it punches such a huge hole in the air. It propels you up forward. So that's what these guys are going to be looking to do, and I'm not sure, because they're not sure, how to get it done.
Hey, I think what's going to be interesting, we're taking a look down on pit road right now. Just when they tell everybody the track is open and the clock has started, as how they back out and start down, trying to hunt their teammates. Well, it's going to get kind of jammed up, I think, down at the end of pit road.
And I think they need to get it done early, too, because you want that big pack out there. If you can get out there with your 2 or 3 teammates, get behind the big pack, that's when you're going to see the number. And I think the longer we go into this first 25-minute session, we're going to lose some cars. They're going to put a decent number up, and they're going to come to the garage. So the big pack may go away.
And Jeff mentioned the word use. You want to use another car or another team out there, but you don't want to be used. A little dog action in the infield here at Talladega. We're about to get underway with qualifying for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. They're all strapped into their cars. The first 25-minute session has begun. The green flag is waving. 72 degrees the temperature, and it is clear skies. We love
Watch out.
How about this?
Some of them are blocked in. Where's the traffic cop? Where's the traffic cop?
Right here.
Man.
Who goes out first? The strategy plays out right now. Do you go out in a big pack? Do you wait and see if you can get a few small packs to separate themselves and use them?
Well, I'm already seeing you. I saw Austin Dillon as well as Elliott Sadler. They looked like they were being very patient and waiting everything to kind of get shook out. So it's going to be interesting. Right now, we've already been reports that TriStar Motorsports is out front right now with their team. Yeah. They've got about 4 entries right now. They're going to try to get something going on. And this could wind up, making some of these other organizations. I see Roush Fenway trying to get organized down on pit road so they can make a run. But this may be what you're looking for, Phil. Let these guys get out there and break the wind. Try to make your timing where you catch them as you get up to speed down the back straightaway and draft up on them.
I think we look maybe when those guys go into turn number 3 or something like that, then maybe these Roush Fenway guys leave pit road to try to time it. Exactly like you're talking about, Jeff. That would be the perfect scenario.
Right now, I'm noticing into pit road, you'll see a lot of Fords, Roush Fenway affiliated or Roush Fenway cars on the end of pit road down here.
First group has 7 cars in it. And we'll see what they do once they come through the tri-oval and how many cars will come out onto the track after that first group to try. Oh, how about this? Back onto pit road.
They didn't like what they saw. They didn't like what they saw.
They decide they're not going to be the ones being used.
What we talk about during the break? Liar's poker?
Yeah.
I got 3 7s. How many you got?
How about that? Early on, they decide to come back to pit road.
Yeah, you guys didn't like this. Let's see if you like that.
So a little more strategy being
Clements,
played.
Yeah. And them starting to take off.
That first pack of 7 never completed a lap. So there's no time other than Richardson has been able to turn 1 lap so far. Is the only one that's turned a lap.
Something we haven't talked about, and we've seen this come up a couple of times at other racetracks with nowhere near the size we have here. The clock gets to running. It takes a while to get your momentum up here. So you got to be careful that you don't start playing it too close to the vest and run out of time before you can lay down a good lap.
There's 42 cars here. Only 40 will start the race tomorrow. So 2 are going to be eliminated out of this first session of qualifying.
And those guys that have been a little bit slow, we look at coming off the pit on the exit of pit road. We see tire smoke, guys almost running into one another. See Kyle Larson there being.
Group of 4 working together on the track now.
See Kyle Larson, John West Townley lined up, Bobby Gerhardt in that 85 Lucas Oil car.
22, Ryan Blaney trying to situate himself in a position. Now, one of the things that they're told is they cannot block pit road. They're not allowed to block pit road. And right now it looks like it's difficult to maneuver to get off of pit road.
Well, you see Jeffrey Earnhardt right there in the 4 car, the black car at the very end of the outside lane. There's still an outside lane there, Rick, but not much of one. And it'll be interesting to see what NASCAR has to say about it. I'm sure they're okay as long as guys can get by. But if it gets any more jammed up than that, I'm sure they're going to intervene here and they're going to put a stop to it.
Jeremy Clements in the 51 is in front of this pack.
J.J. Yaley, the 28, Carl Long, the 93, Joey Gase, and the 52 along with him in that pack, that 4-car pack. And look at the edge of pit road now.
Now everyone makes their way out onto the track.
This is when it gets crazy, guys.
Everyone jockeying for position as the 4 cars continue to make a lap, and now you see the traffic in front of them.
Here comes that fast pack of Clements and them down low right now, swinging into 1, while everybody else is down below the yellow line. And that's what you have to do, right, Phil? You got to stay below the blend line all the way out to the back straightaway.
Yes, but you can run wide open on that blend line too. They're not going to time it exactly right, but there's going to be so many cars in that pack. They will catch that 4-car pack here, Jeff, probably by the time they get back here to the start-finish line.
What's the ideal position in this big pack? Once they start to catch them, do you want to be mid-pack, be able to get another slingshot off the group you're working with?
Well, if you can pass the car in front of you, then you're going to be faster than him. So it remains to be seen. You see Kyle Larson using all the racetrack up there. He wants to build up as much momentum as he can, and then at some point he's going to duck down behind these 4 cars, but they may be getting there too early, Jeff.
Yeah, I think he might be okay. He may be able to get himself the lap he's looking for. And for Kyle Larson and his crew chief is to be looking at what was run on Thursday during that practice session, which was Trevor Bayne at a 50-30. If you can be somewhere in that area, you come to pit road, because that's going to be good enough to get you in the top 25, I believe.
Clock starts and stops at the start-finish line. It was about 300 yards, the separation from the first 4-car pack to the big pack behind him. Well, let's see if that's the distance that they need to be able to close that gap.
Right now, our fast lap is 182 miles an hour, set by J.J. Yaley, that is in that group of 4 or 5 cars in front of this pack. Wait till we see these numbers. I think you're right. I thought they maybe got there too soon.
I think they're just right.
They may be just right.
And the bad thing about, J.J. Yaley and that group out in front of them is that J.J. was able to run. He was 17th quickest in Thursday's practice, but right now he's running with guys that were way back in 35th and 36th position. So he may have to, change his strategy and try to fall back into this pack here to elevate his quick time. Off the end of pit road right now, we're starting to see the Junior Motorsports cars as well as JGR. I'm talking about Elliott Sadler in the 11. They're starting to roll off into pit road to try to make their runs.
Ryan Sieg was in front of the second group, the big pack that was making its run. Ryan Reed is now the fastest in this session. He's gone over 188 miles per hour.
And that was 6 miles an hour faster than J.J. Yaley. One of those yellow cars on the outside, the 28 was able to run before that lap before that.
Phil, I may be wrong, but that lap that Ryan Reed has run already would probably get him locked into that top 25, and that's all you're looking for. Get yourself in position where you can advance and you get out of harm's way.
But that's him at the very back of that pack right now, but he's also trying to help his other 4 teammates out there. He's got Ryan Blaney, the 22 car, second line on the outside, and the 98 of David Reagan.
Top of the list.
And that it worked for David Reagan. Now Trevor Bayne up to the top.
Trevor Bayne takes over the top spot. Chris Buescher right behind him in second. David Reagan down to third. Ryan Blaney fourth. Landon Castle, the 5th quick in this qualifying session. They want to be in the top 24 if they're going to advance into round number 2. And welcome back. Fast Friday continuing here on Fox Sports 1 as qualifying for the NASCAR Nationwide Series continues. Now the strategy comes into play. Do some of the cars that have turned the fast laps, like Trevor Bayne, Chris Buescher, David Reagan, do they get off the track? They don't want to help anyone.
They don't want to help anybody else. That's what we've been talking about. Get what you need and get out of the way and don't allow these other teams. I'm talking about guys can be 10 miles an hour slower than you, but they'll take advantage of you in the draft. And next thing you know, they'll be up there running those kind of fast laps, which you just don't want to get knocked out of that top 25 if you can help it.
And a lot of those fast forwards that are up top are still on the racetrack. Now they're making their way. You see the blue and white car on the inside. This side of the double yellow line, that's David Reagan. He's pulling to the inside. Going to board the rest of this session, I'm sure. Ryan Reed, though, the 16 and the 6 of Trevor Bayne stay on the racetrack.
Ty Dillon, Brian Scott, and Trevor Bayne have made it work the last time by. They're now the 3 fastest cars in this qualifying session. That puts Chris Buescher, David Reagan, and Ryan Blaney back into the 4th, 5th, and 6th positions.
And this is where Elliott Sadler working his way on the low side right there with 3 cars in behind him. He may be able to lay down a pretty impressive lap because he's able to pull up on Ryan Reed and that group. That pack right in front of him may allow him to jump up here in that qualifying lineup.
And remember, Sam Horner said, I'm going to get behind the 11 car and go wherever he goes.
Right. Elliott Sadler, 17th quick in this session. So he is in the top 24 now in that 11. The 54 of Sam Hornish Jr. also in the top 24.
Whoa, look at that move.
Some maneuvering now to get into clean air.
Exactly, and that's what's going on here. You run up on a slow car. That looked like the boat car. Chad Boat in the 84 car. But look how he's slicing and dicing through that practice right there. Coming right through that field.
Bob Dillner, one of the hottest guys in the Nationwide Series, looks as though he's lost his teammates.
He's a little bit lost out on the racetrack. He's asking his crew chief, Greg Ives, for some direction right now because the plan was for Chase Elliott to draft with his teammate Regan Smith. Well, they never could find each other on the racetrack, so right now they are aborting the run. He never got hooked up with Regan Smith. Regan's already down pit road. They're going to bring the 9 down, cool him back off, and the plan is to get those 2 hooked up, so a plan gone bad already in qualifying for the junior motorsports cars.
Yeah, just as we saw Chase coming to pit road, his teammates Regan Smith and the 5 car of Casey Kane were going back on the racetrack coming off pit road.
Now, is that the fault of a spotter? I mean, the spotters should be the ones who can see everyone out there and get you together.
This is definitely miscommunication.
Yes, more important for a spotter for this session probably than ever before.
If you look at into pit road, now we see Chase Elliott, the 9 car, rolling off into pit road while the pack itself is coming through the tri-oval. So it looks to me like I think they may have this time pretty well. They're going to catch up with them. I'm talking about the 11 car of Elliott Sadler, which is leading the 3 car pack still. Should be going around and catching as Brendan Gaughan back in that pack right there in the 62 car, down low behind Dylan Kwasniewski. The 31 has just laid down the fastest lap at a 50.121, 191 miles an hour.
Check this out. The slowest 2 cars that went out in qualifying, Casey Kane and Regan Smith.
How about right now our leaderboard? How about 2nd, Robert Richardson? 3rd, Matt DiBenedetto.
Brendan Gaughan now quickest in this session. Ty Dillon's dropped down to the 4th spot.
What'd I tell you? I like to hook my wagon to you, brother. See how fast you'll take me.
So we may see a surprise pole sitter here.
Yeah. Well, again, this is the first session. This will advance them into round number 2. 24 cars will advance. Right now, the 25th car is Jeff Green. Outside, looking in. Fastest speed
to run the
over
bottom here to run a fast lap. That group says up high, do it. It's faster on the bottom here. There you go. You got all the help coming with you. There you go, bud.
Over 191 miles an hour, the fastest speed turn.
And look at that momentum those 2 JR Motorsports cars have.
And let's not forget that number 7 car. What has he done, Phil, in the last 3 restrictor plate races?
He won 2 of them.
He's won 2 of them.
Yeah, they've been very impressive. Regan Smith, the winner from Daytona earlier this year.
And if you don't think that draft's not important, currently the 9 car Chase Elliott is 38th. The Regan Smith car, he's 40th, followed by the 5 car of Casey Kane, are 41st. So let's see what this draft does around this racetrack as they're catching these other cars, what it does for them.
They have cars in front of them, too. That's going to be good news for these guys.
Working together, 7 and the 5 as they cross the stripe. Do they move up from the 40th and 41st position.
Just a little bit, 33rd and 35th.
They've moved up the clock about halfway through this session of round 1 of NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying. Welcome back. Fast Friday continuing here on Fox Sports 1. The pack still trying to find some speed here at Talladega Superspeedway.
Remember, Brendan Gaughan told us that he'd never been a part of anything any crazier than that qualifying session was in Daytona, and it looks very much the same.
And this is just the first round. There's 2 other rounds. We'll whittle down the amount of cars that'll be on the track, but that just means there's less cars to work together out there to try to turn that fast lap.
And that's the idea of having a little bit of strategy of who you help versus who you don't want to help. If you get a good lap, there's no reason to sit out there and keep dragging guys around. Plus, put yourself, I think, in harm's way. I told a crew chief earlier today, watching the way these guys are practicing, just watch this pack going down the back straightaway. Everybody's dipping and diving and going dicing around.
Spreading out.
It's just like happy hour, and you don't know what can happen. That's scary. I mean, everybody's up with pins and needles right now.
Can some of these people be using this as a happy hour? And Elliott Sadler right now, he's 20 seconds quick. Potentially,
you still got 2 more sessions. You still got 2 more sessions.
How about, trouble! And contact as they come out of turn 4.
There we go.
And up into the wall.
Like Brian Berryhill right there in the 17.
It looked like the 42 car of Kyle Larson was trying to make his way through there. He made it 4 wide. I think he made some contact with Tanner in the 17.
And that's what I was trying to explain, guys. That's what you have to worry about.
He had a tremendous run going through turn 3 and 4. Off turn 4, he caught this group and tried to get in between a couple cars. And I believe he made contact with that 17 of Tanner Berryhill.
Also involved, it seems as though the 42 of Kyle Larson and the 7 of Regan Smith. Let's look again.
See the 42 car. You see the momentum he has right now. He moves to the outside of the 17. He's going to try to get between those 2 cars, and he's going to actually make contact with Tanner Berryhill. Forces him down to the inside into the 70 car.
Yeah, so
and that's exactly what I'm talking about. This is how crazy it can be. It's how crazy.
Casey Kane just behind that group in the 5.
We're fortunate right now. You know, Ryan Berryhill was in the race.
Yeah, threading the needle. Take a look at this.
Look at the momentum. He's going to move around the outside of Bobby Gerhart underneath Casey Kane. Now he gets to the outside. He thinks he's got a hole here. They make a little bit of contact, and it forces Tanner to the inside. He makes contact with Derek Cope in the 70 car. We're so fortunate that really only 1 car got torn out.
I hope that somebody down on pit road gets an opportunity to talk to Casey Kane, because he had a whole windshield full of all of this going on. Look at the donuts down here on the side of the 42 car. You see that? That's the contact that we're talking about. It just occurred on the racetrack.
That's from the 7 car, Regan Smith on the outside.
So a little contact taking place on track as the first session. We're about, just over halfway through that first session, and let's take a quick break, a Fox Sports 1 break with Alan Massengo. And you can vote now on NASCAR.com/SprintFanVote or NASCAR mobile app for your chance to win a 2014 Chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup VIP experience. Welcome back. A hold in the qualifying session because of that. That's the 17 of Tanner Berryhill. Let's look back as to what took place coming out of turn 4.
Tremendous momentum for the 42. He had a good draft. He had James Busher behind him, but he got up here. He thought he had a hole for a minute. Wasn't much of a hole. He made contact with Regan Smith on the outside. Tanner Berryhill on the inside in the 17. Forced him into the 70 of Derek Cope, and unfortunately Tanner Berryhill is going to really pay the price.
Yeah, he really is. And just notice something on that last replay. We take a look at it again. When the 42 comes up through here, it's almost like the 7 car came down just a little bit off that corner, which you have to a little bit, but he was coming down a little bit, maybe to drop behind that car in front of him, and it kind of closed up that hole that was there for a moment.
A little better perspective there. Remember, they're doing this at 190 miles an hour. Kyle Larson trying to fit between those 2 cars.
Oh, he was threading the needle for sure.
Really fortunate Dylan Kwasniewski just gets by before Tanner gets into the outside wall. Casey Kane right behind him.
I'm telling you, that's close.
Before all that took place, the fastest lap turned has been by Brendan Gaughan. Let's hear from him.
Well, Brendan Gaughan, you told me you had a plan, and so far it looks like it's worked out pretty well.
Well, I can't say what we did was the plan, but look, when you got ECR engines, you got the RCR fab shop and all the engineering, you know that our Chevrolets are going to be good. And you got, Ty sitting fourth, Brian fifth, us on the stop right there. It's first round, though. This isn't the round that pays. We still got 2 more rounds to do it in.
And he came on the radio and said, "Was that a good lap, guys?" His crew chief said, "Yeah, you're P1."
And all smiles for Brendan Gaughan. See that? Jackie Gaughan, grandfather, John Jackie Gaughan, the patriarch of the Gaughan family as far as their resorts and hotels that moved to the Las Vegas area.
Yeah, we know Michael Gaughan, Brendan's dad's, watching now with interest, and so much involved with Brendan's racing. And
well, don't forget Mom, Paul.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. It's a family affair.
Oh,
it's a family affair.
Yeah, definitely. There's a little bit of damage that took place on that 42 of Kyle Larson, Phil.
Yeah, the splitter, I noticed earlier during the commercial break that the splitter was actually messed up there. So now they're taping it. If they're going to fix that for the race, then that will probably cause him to go all the way to the back of the pack because of unapproved adjustments. But if they do it now during the session, Jeff, I guess it's okay. It's kind of uncharted territory.
Uncharted territory.
Yeah. Green flag, by the way, is back out. That means that this first session is back under green. We haven't seen any cars take it on yet. And just as I mentioned that we hadn't seen cars come back out in this first session, they all make the run for the racetrack. Just under 9 minutes remaining in this first session. You got to be in the top 24 to advance. You've got to be in the top 40. As far as the ones that aren't locked in, Chad Boat and Derek Cope are the 2 slowest that aren't locked into this race.
How about we have 2 JR Motorsports cars up front again, but again, no 9 of Chase Elliott. You see Casey Kane, the 5, and the 7 of Regan Smith. Chase Elliott now is on pit road.
Well, he got
just
left
off of
once
pit
again.
Road.
He got left once again, and the reason for I think the urgency in Casey Kane is he is still way back here at 33rd position right now. So, guys, this is when all of a sudden it starts getting very intense with only about 8 minutes to go.
Bobby Gerhart in the 85, when he came off of pit road and was getting up to speed, he actually was outside of that double yellow line, and so NASCAR has said that is a violation. You've got to come back to pit road. Also involved in that was the 91 of Jeff Green. So Jeff Green and Bobby Gerhart are both going to have to come back to pit road. They won't be a part of this big pack. At least it won't count because NASCAR wants them to come back to pit road.
Well, you can't violate. It's just like a race. They tell everybody to keep, for the sake of safety, you got to stay below that blend line because you never know when there's a fast pack coming along behind you. You pull up in front of them, they're running down low, and we'll have a horrific accident. So it's necessary for them to do that.
And why is it so important for Jeff Green to get some speed? He's on the outside looking in right now. He's 25th fastest. He's not going to advance to the next session or the next round if he doesn't pick up a little speed.
They've got a great draft lining up here. You see they've got a pack in front of them too. Casey Kane, the 5 leading at Regan Smith, James Busher, John. Oh, wow.
Look at that aggressive move again led by Casey Kane.
Yeah. I told you this does make the crew chiefs crazy. Imagine standing on top of the truck watching this going on. There's nothing you can do about it. You're trusting your spotter and the guy behind the wheel to protect that race car.
Now, I wondered about the 42 of Kyle Larson, and we've been told that anything that they can do with tape or by hand is legal. No tools involved in fixing the splitter on that 42 car.
Well, I think they're lucky right now considering what they just went through. There's a 9 right now. He is trying to get the blend in with this pack. It's down on the low side, and it looks like
they're coming in.
Casey Kane's coming in. So it's guess what? You're on your own, buddy.
Jamie Dick, the 55, rolls by on the inside.
There is a bigger pack that's behind that 9 and 70.
Well, they're going to have to hope
that wait for it.
If they catch him and they can make something happen here. Chase is getting ready to come in. Hopefully he's not. Stay in it, Chase. Stay in it. You need to stay in it, buddy.
Yep, he's going to stay out on the track.
You get guys lined up on top.
That's right. Keep your foot in it.
Our guys are all spread out, got nothing really.
Just over 6 minutes remaining.
Guys look like they're slowing down also. Nobody's doing shit. 10 backs us.
That's Chase Elliott. Regan Smith right now, the 7 is behind him, as well as James Busher, the 99, John West Townley in that Zaxby's car, the 25.
And what they've elected to do is try to get back up there together one more time to see if they can pick their speeds up, because you got to look at it like this, guys. Kane and Smith, all those cars in that group, they're not in the race yet. They haven't made the top 25, I should say. They're not in the top
outside
25.
the top 30 right now.
Exactly.
Chase Elliott all the way back in 40th.
Now you're talking about a plan that's basically gone awry.
Backfiring.
So far, you know, Junior Motorsports guys, they haven't been able to put it together.
I talked to Greg Ives, his crew chief, this morning. I said, you guys have a plan, and his plan was to get together with his teammates. As you can see now, Regan Smith is going to peel back off the racetrack. Chase out there completely by himself right now.
Yeah, and the field with the pack that was behind him scattering, dwindling down to just 7 cars now. That big pack that was behind Chase Elliott. Elliott 40th quick in this session.
It just has not panned out for Chase yet. He just hasn't gotten the right spot, hasn't got the help he's needed at the right time. Let's see what he can do now. We've got several cars in this pack led by James Busher in the 99.
And let's go back to the last time I remember him on the racetrack at a super speedway Daytona. That's the only place where this guy has not really been that strong. He finished 15th that day. Not that he didn't run well in the race, but he got snookered a little bit. And Phil, you know, sometimes figuring out how to run on a super speedway is a lot different than racing other racetracks.
And he was running 3rd late in that race, too. Got shuffled out a little bit, ended up with a 15th place finish. And right now, the way the cars are scattered, they're not going to put any good times up on the board. There's a good, fast Rockstar Energy Chevrolet behind him, though, the 31 of Dylan Kwasniewski. Right now, he's not real happy. He's 28th. He needs to move up to get in that first group.
Trying to find some speed. Now, are they playing some games with a guy who finished first, and second in the last 3 races? I mean, Chase Elliott has been a man on a roll. Are they trying to mess with him in this qualifying session?
If they were, why is their teammates right now, Casey King and Regan Smith, both of those guys 32nd and 33rd, and then we got Chase Elliott at 40th. I mean, so they're not playing games.
They're picking on him?
No. I wouldn't want to get started way back in the back if I've got a fast race car. They've still got time to fix this problem. If they can get back out there together and work together, they should be able to lay down a decent lap, but they're going to have all of them on the racetrack now.
We don't have enough time, Jeff. There's 3 minutes and 38 seconds to go. There's not enough time for them to come back to pit road, get started again, and get going, I don't think. Especially right now, Chase stays on the racetrack.
This, to me, is a waste. I don't think the 2 cars, and remember, in this series, you're not allowed to bump the other guy in front of you or touch him. You can get up there and touch him a little bit, but you can't lay on him. Right. You can't lay on him like you'd like to. 2 cars hooked up around here can run fast together, but you've got to get hooked up, and you can't do that in this series.
That was Chase's best lap. It's still only 40th fastest.
Yeah, he's run 12 laps and still 40th quick in this qualifying session.
And you see those 2 guys driving away from the rest of the field. This is not going to.
No, it's not.
And now they're switching positions.
Bob Dillon.
Every game plan that they've tried to make with the 9 team has gone wrong. They tried to hook up with Regan Smith, and then on the radio they were saying, should we go with the guys that are coming in the back, the Gibbs guys, or our guys? A lot of confusion, honestly, as Chase Elliott makes his way down pit road. Right now on the outside looking in, these guys just don't know what to do right now.
Well, they're out of options. I mean, they're in a situation right now that the 9 would have to go right back out on the track and try to get behind a big pack to suck up to it if he wants to try to get into that top 24. But there's just not enough cars out on the track that can help him.
I think I just heard something over that communication right there. There's no sense going back out.
Yeah.
So maybe they've elected to say, hey, look, let's just cut our losses, learn from the mistake, and move on.
It didn't work. Yeah, and we'll learn for next time. We'll know when we go to Daytona in July how to do it better.
Chad Boat in the 84 in front of this group. He is close to missing this race. Right now, he and Derek Cope, they're 34th and 35th, but those are the 2 cars that are the slowest of the cars that aren't locked into this field. They have to increase their speed, try to get faster than Tanner Berryhill or Bobby Gerhart, who are faster than they are. And so Chad Boat's trying to do everything he can just to race tomorrow.
And it didn't work that lap. That lap was actually about a half a second slower, and this isn't going to help either,
No,
Jeff.
they've got to get lined up. I mean, that's the thing. Is that somebody's got to realize my car is faster. If it's Jeremy Clements or whatever, now he's coming to the bottom side, so he's indicating to me he's coming off the racetrack. So he needs some help.
2 cars that are still out there, they're the 2 slowest of the go-or-go-homers.
Yeah, and I don't think 2 cars are going to do it. They can get hooked up as close as they can, and I still don't think that's going to work for them. They need to change. They need to do something different.
Yeah,
they're done.
Chad Boat's decided
we've got
enough.
54 seconds to go, and
it didn't work
for Derek Cope and Chad Boat. they both just go ahead and again.
Now, Phil, as a driver,
they're done.
How difficult is this? I mean, they were out there for 18 laps trying to make their way in. More difficult than when you go out there and you only have 2 laps in qualifying?
Oh, without a doubt. You know when you go out there by yourself and you have 2 laps, you're just going to hold it down, especially at this racetrack, and run wide open. And what you have is what you have. Chad Boat is sitting there knowing that he has a good enough car to get in this race and maybe contend tomorrow, or certainly contend for a top 10 finish, and it's not going to happen.
Can't even make it into the field.
I guess the way you need to look at this, if your car was not fast enough by itself, old style, this was a great opportunity to take advantage of what you could do if you could work the draft in your favor. But we've now seen that it takes a lot of thought and being in the right place and a lot of luck to get that perfect lap.
How about right now the guys second and third? Robert Richardson, Matt DiBenedetto, second and
Where'd
third.
they come from?
Absolutely.
They took advantage of that session. They drafted the way you were supposed to. How about Steve Letarte and Dale Jr. watching on, maybe learning a little bit? Chase Elliott not happy. Round number 1 is complete. Here is how they did in 1. Brendan Gaughan, he was fastest, over 191 miles an hour. He was able to figure out the draft, as was Robert Richardson Jr. and Matt DiBenedetto. 2 guys we wouldn't have expected to see in the top 5 in this qualifying session.
How about look back at 7th and 8th? Chris Buescher, David Reagan, both those drivers missing the race at Daytona because their plan didn't work here, just like Chase Elliott's didn't work in this first session.
A couple other surprises ready. John West Townley, how about Eric McClure and David Starr and Mike Bliss? I think those right down are all teammates from TriStar, aren't they?
Now, these are the ones that won't advance into the second round, but are still in this race, with the exception of Chad Boat and Derek Cope. Those 2 did not qualify. Here's the remainder of the 42 that were out in that first round session. Let's go to Bob Dillner.
Chase Elliott is your point leader, but he does not advance to the next round. There seemed to be some confusion. What went wrong during that session?
I don't know. I think everybody just got kind of antsy, and we never could really decide when everybody wanted to go. So it's all good, though. I mean, it's just a starting spot, but we definitely struggled at this plate race and knockout qualifying. So it's all good. We'll take it, and it's a long race tomorrow, so it's really not about your starting spot. So we'll just make the most of where we're at and try to improve for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yep.
Ready, Dunlap?
Well, let's hear from Casey Kane. The Great Clip Chevy's back in 32nd. Is that just because the plan didn't work out?
That's just because we did it the wrong way. Dale told me what to do prior to qualifying, and we did a little different, tried to work it out, differently together as a team, and it just didn't work. But I know we have a fast Great Clip Chevrolet. Junior Motorsport's been strong all season long, and look forward to the race tomorrow. We're just going to have to start in the back.
How long does it take to get to the front?
As long as you want it to. I think it's up to you in certain ways, and then just kind of depends the way the other people race as far as the pack and stuff. But the car's fast, and if everybody's gets a pretty big pack at the start and doesn't go single file, I think you could pass up through there pretty quickly.
There was some pretty wild action right in front of you. You were right behind that crash. What'd that look like?
There was no room, and Larson tried to make room, and then cars started crashing, and I was lucky enough to turn left and make it through and not hit anyone. So it was good. I like my Great Clips Chevy. I didn't want to hurt it right there, especially being 35th or something in time. So it was good we got through there, and now we just got to get prepared for the race tomorrow.
Good luck. It'll be fun to watch him come from the back, guys.
Yeah, did you notice Chase Elliott, who's probably going to start around 37th? He said it doesn't matter where you start.
That's what I'd say, too.
He's starting 37th. Don't miss your chance to experience Talladega Superspeedway at its finest. The Sprint Cup drivers battle 3 wide at 200 miles per hour. For tickets, visit TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or call 877-GO-TO-DEGA. What a great place. Phil, I know that this place is near and dear to your heart. Able to get your Cup win right here at this racetrack?
Yeah, that was a very special day back a long time ago now, as it were, but it was very special. I've always loved this racetrack. I grew up wanting to go fast.
Yeah.
And man, we used to go fast.
You can't go any faster than right here.
I like
Bill Elliott ran ridiculous speeds.
Over 212 and a half, something like that. I qualified here just a shade under 210 miles an hour one time.
All right, here we go again, and you already see people kind of like trying to get lined up here. I see TriStar Motorsports up here at the end of pit road with the 14 of Eric McClure, look like Mike Bliss. And toward the inside, I see Trevor Bain right there on the closest to the inside of the pit wall. And you see a lot of his teammates, a lot of Fords starting to come in behind him.
I think TriStar is adopted Jamie Dick. He's behind them in the black car, number 55.
The round 2 is only 10 minutes. So obviously things are picking up. We're only going to send 24 cars out there, or 24 are eligible. They might not go out. We might not see all 24 that were able to advance to round 2.
You may call it good. Yeah, you may call it good. Say, okay, I'm in the top 24. I'm solidly, and you see Josh Wise, the 40 car there. He's still in his pit stall. Yeah. He may elect just not to go out here, take any chances. We saw what happened to Tanner Berryhill, and he may just say, okay, 24 is good enough.
And you see right there, Trevor Bain, he was actually backing up on pit road, and beside him is Kyle Larson in the 42. He's sitting there patiently waiting to see who makes the first move.
So chess is being played on pit road. Let's go down to one of our best chess players, Bob Dillner.
That's right. Regan Smith has won 2 of the last 3 restrictor plate races here in the Nationwide Series, but you're not in this round. What happened? Was it a victim of circumstances or poor planning?
Well, I think for us it was just circumstances. We had a plan before we went out there collectively and had an idea when we wanted to go out what we wanted to do, and it just didn't work out. You know, that was as simple as it could be. We couldn't get together the way we needed to off of pit road, and then just weren't in the right position with the pack. So it's disappointing, but at the same time, I'm sitting here pretty happy that my car's in one piece after what happened in turn 4. I looked up in my mirror and jerked right as quick as I could because I saw it coming, and then I just couldn't get all the way out of the way. I guess, I don't know, I got run into a little bit there, but nonetheless, we got a fast Ragu Chevy. It's the same one that we had at Daytona that worked out pretty good there, and you know, I enjoy this type of racing, so we'll work hard tomorrow.
Is that something with that incident that you'd want to talk to Kyle Larson about?
Not really, because it's not his fault. It's a product of the box that we're in. When you got to run and you're going 20 miles an hour quicker, and you know, I think myself and the 5 were up just trying to get back to the back of the line so we could go try and get a run. It's just circumstances. You know, you hate that it happens, and I don't know who ended up wrecking, but I know somebody hit the wall from it, and you know, I don't know how to do anything different right there, other than not check up to try and get to the back. And I thought all the lines were going to the inside there, and like I said, I saw it out of my quarter window just a little bit, or A-pillar window just a little bit, and at that point, he was on top of me pretty much.
Bottom line, though, Regan Smith, he'll be good tomorrow.
Saw some RCR cars making the move there.
Clock's running.
Clock is running, and they're all sitting on pit road. Wait for the last minute. The chess game back underway in the second round of NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying, and we've got 5 cars making the way out on track.
Phil, can you imagine what it'd be like sitting in that race car for almost 5 minutes waiting for somebody to make the move, and somebody finally says, go, go, go.
Okay, I'll go. So back out onto the track. Everything is reset. So the 24 cars that are eligible to come out in this round, we could have a new fastest 12 in this session.
Here we go. Here comes some Fords getting together, led by David Reagan in the 98.
But let me say this. Remember what happened? These first 5 guys that went out the last session, what they do? They came right back down on pit road. But I bet you they'll do it this time.
Well, they're certainly spread out right now, though, Jeff.
They are definitely
really
spread out. And what do we like to say at a super speedway? If you can see the car in front of you, he's helping you.
You're getting help. Well, guess what?
They did come back down pit road.
They came back down pit road. And now this second group that has gone out onto the track, about to blend up. After they come out of turn 2, they can move back up onto the track.
And that's Landon Castles in that red car. Now, he benefited from getting hooked up with these guys last time, was able to lay down a really good lap.
See the 16 of Ryan Reed's on the inside. He would like to get in front of Landon Castle, and he's going to be able to. Landon actually backed off to let him in. There's no sense those guys running side by side around there.
And the thing I was going to say, you were asking about playing games. You saw the TriStar Motorsport guys. They were playing games because they were saying, hey, you're not going to use us up again. We're going to try to use you up. So they're playing a little bit of a game right now as we see cars coming through the trial. We're trying to get up to speed. TriStar Motorsports now rolling off down the pit road.
Really just one chance at this because this group waited so long to come out onto the track. They're going to have really one shot at posting a big lap, and then time's going to run out.
Well, what you're seeing here is what we're going to see in that final session in about, what, 8 minutes?
Yeah.
It's not going to take long. We're going to figure this deal out.
Just group working together. The fastest in this session, 140 miles an hour, Darrell Wallace Jr. That was before they were able to get completely up to speed.
How about the TriStar bunch there along with Jamie Dick? Those guys are catching. That's going to help this lap time.
It's going to help them, but what's going to happen is when that group passes them, then TriStar is going to be in the catbird seat. They'll be able to hook onto this fast group and take advantage of them, Phil. And they may wind up be a surprise getting the transfer spots into the second and be third and final round.
See the Gibbs guys just coming off turn 4 now. The 3 Gibbs cars stuck together. And you see these cars side by side. That's ideal for those Gibbs cars.
The group back coming out of turn number 4. So again, the top 12 advance into the final session. Kyle Larson quickest. Now it's Sam Hornish Jr. Darrell Wallace Jr.'s jump back up to the top. All over 185 miles an hour. Elliott Sadler also up there.
Brendan Gaughan, who was the fastest in the first round, now 4th. But just point out one thing. Where was Wallace Jr. at the end of that first round? 24th.
Yeah.
Watch this now.
Making it work.
See if these Gibbs cars. Look at Elliott Sadler going through the middle, looking for some room.
Trying to find.
Oh, if he can make this here work, he is going to lay down a lap.
They're moving very quickly on that high line. They had the momentum built up after working off of these 5 cars that were at the bottom of the track. Let's see what kind of a lap they're able to turn.
They're already 1, 2, 3 right now on the board. See if they can pick up the pace.
Sam Hornish Jr.
Half a second faster that lap.
Dakota Armstrong jumps up
a lot
into
faster.
the 4th spot. But how about Darrell Wallace Jr., Sam Hornish Jr., and Elliott Sadler all over 188 miles an hour?
Yeah, that worked there as they came up through the middle of that pack.
Hey, and guess who's doing all the work and not getting all the glory?
Yeah.
That's Elliott Sadler. He's leading the way, and Bubba Wallace back there at the 3rd in line on that Joe Gibbs organization, taking advantage of it.
They've got another situation here where they're catching that big group right there, Jeff. This could be another good lap.
It could be. They could wind up finding another half a second if they're not careful.
See if they continue to be the fastest 3.
They are coming
moving
like a house on fire. Look out, Dakota Armstrong. They're coming through.
Right through the tri-oval again here at Talladega.
This is going to be incredibly fast.
188.389 was the fastest lap before they came across the stripe. Do they improve on that lap?
A little bit slower that time.
A little slower.
I'm surprised.
If I was them, I believe I'd pull it on. We don't want to let that group behind them.
No, don't let those guys take advantage of you.
Pull that thing down below that double yellow line, get out of the way. And that's exactly what they're doing.
Yep.
The top 12 right now. Ty Dillon in the 12th and final transfer spot for the final round. Just on the outside is the 2 of Brian Scott. So it's Darrell Wallace Jr., Sam Hornish Jr., Elliott Sadler, Dakota Armstrong, Chris Buescher, Landon Castle, Ryan Reed, Ryan Blaney, David Reagan, James Buescher, Brendan Gaughan, and Ty Dillon. They're your fastest 12 with only 44 seconds to go in this session.
They'll be able to complete this lap. He's looking at John West Townley get a little draft off of Jamie Dick in the 55.
Does anyone move in? Once they've started this lap, before this round ends, this lap will count.
And Brian Scott and Ty Dillon jumped from being 12th and just outside up to the top 5.
And look at him coming on the inside there. Brian Scott leading that group.
Brian Scott.
They don't need to do any more. That's what they're doing, getting out of the way. Hey, guys, we've done what we needed to do. Quit. Don't help anybody else out.
Yeah, he was 4th quick, and now, you're seeing a lot of guys jump out of the gas.
Right, because all of them are in that top 12, and that's all they want to do is get in there and get out of the way.
Ty Dillon currently 5th quick.
See, David Reagan, the 98 car, is 13th, just outside the top 12, and I think he's going to call that good.
Yep.
Ryan Blaney, right now, who is in 12th, is coming to pit road as well.
So the red and black flags displayed for round number 2. The top 12 will now fight it out to find out who will lead the field to the green flag tomorrow in the NASCAR Nationwide race.
Now you want to get in there as quickly as possible, check your air pressure, and cool that car down and get ready to go again.
Only 5 minutes, the break in between sessions. The next session, only 12 cars go out. And welcome back. Chad Knaus and Steve Letarte doing a little discussing, maybe learning something as far as what took place in the first 2 rounds of this qualifying session.
Remember, the Cup guys have never done this before.
Right.
We had traditional style qualifying at Daytona on this type of racetrack.
I think that they're learning what not to do and learning what they hope to do.
Right. Here are the 12 that will advance into round number 3. There were 24 that were eligible for this second round. Here's the back half of that. Matt DiBenedetto and Josh Wise opted to not go out in that second round session. Now let's go to Bob Dillner.
The first man out from that session, David Reagan. I want to know, with this form of qualifying on restrictor plate racetracks, what makes the game so difficult?
Well, you just have so many different scenarios. At high-speed downforce tracks, you want to be by yourself in clean air, all the downforce you can get. And here you got to have some help. You don't want a fast car in front of you, a fast car behind you. You want someone like 20 car lengths in front of them so you can really catch a draft. And you got so many different guys with so many different plans, and you want to be conservative and not tear your race car up, but you got to be aggressive to try to get in the right lane and try to go. But our Ford's fast. I got to thank Fred Biaggi and Bill and Lori Denvesti for giving me an opportunity to come out here, and we've got a car that can win this race. So we're starting 13th, it looks like, and that's a long race, and we've got a good game plan for Saturday. It's going to be fun.
Cup winner at Talladega last year, David Reagan.
So a lot of people observing this qualifying
Going
session.
to school, baby. Going to school.
Joey Logano, all smiles. Which is your home for complete NASCAR coverage all season long. Let's go back to Bob Dillner.
Kyle Larson doesn't make it to the final session, but let's go back to that first session. All that chaos out there and some contact with you in the 7 car. What was going on and what happened there?
Yeah, it's just kind of the nature of this style qualifying on the super speedway, where you get out there and then you swap around, try and gain on the other packs in front of you. And we had a huge pack, we had a big run and nowhere to really go. I mean, I feel bad, especially for the 17. Didn't want for that to happen, but I just had a big run, and we were sitting close to the bubble spot to make it to the next round. So you can't really lift in that situation. And like I said, hate it for him. Hopefully they have a backup car and can race tomorrow.
Kyle Larson will start 20th tomorrow.
All right, the final 5-minute session. The clock has started. And here comes the 12 that have an opportunity to win the pole for the NASCAR Nationwide race.
And Rick, let me say right now, you see the 99 car, James Busher, he better hustle on down there, because if he gets left sitting on pit road, he won't have enough time to regain anything or get back in place. And he's going to jump on the back of the 62.
He's waiting for that
He's
62 mark.
Yeah. He's been on his coattails the past 2 sessions.
And
so
he needs to stick with him, but these 2 guys need to get on down here and make it happen, because I don't think anything's going to happen right now. You're going to get one shot at this, I think, and that's going to be about it. Ray?
And Jeff, you were very right. The number 99 was able to tuck in behind Brendan Gaughan, and those guys all in a row in their qualifying. But right now, I expect to see the Childress cars all line up together, and I think you'll see the Gibbs cars together in that same group. These guys may sit there for 2 or maybe even 3 minutes. They want to try to make one big pack of Childress and Gibbs cars and see how fast that group will go.
And so if you're at the back end of that pack, you've got an advantage.
You've got an advantage.
You could potentially get the pole here just because of how you come off of pit road.
But the problem is, I don't know.
Right now we have
the problem is nobody's moving.
We have the Ford pack up front. Right. Then the next pack is the RCR pack with Landon Castle thrown in and James Busher, and then we have the Gibbs pack.
Brian Scott
here we go.
decides to lead it out.
Game on.
What's the Gibbs strategy, Bob?
Well, a lot of talk on the radio that they weren't going to go out until the final 2 minutes of this session, but that plan seems to have gone out the window already as we see those 3 cars. But the key is, guys, they wanted to be at the back of the pack so they can catch those guys in front of them and increase their speed.
Well, they're back there. They're back there, but the problem is, with the amount of time we've got left, can they get it wound up good enough? We're getting a lot of separation here right now.
A lot of separation.
I mean, I really believe that the Richard Childress cars, they've made a good break, and they've got themselves a pretty good lead right now going down the back straightaway on the rest of these packs. The guys that I'm liking the most is the 01 of Landon Castle, as well as Brendan Gaughan as the 22.
Oh, Brian Scott into the outside wall.
Brian Scott brushes the outside wall in that 2 out in front of this group.
Quit looking in your rearview mirror, buddy. Just drive it.
And you're exactly right, Jeff. I'll guarantee you that's what was going on.
Yeah, he's too busy looking back trying to figure out what's going on here.
Just under 2.5 minutes. We're halfway through this final round of qualifying to determine who will be the pole winner for tomorrow's race.
I mean, 2 minutes left to go in this round, and it's going to be kind of crazy, folks.
Remember, that's just the warm-up lap there. The next lap is when we're going to see what kind of speeds these guys have. Those Gibbs cars a long way back, guys.
Yep. How much can they catch up to that group in front of them? Elliott Sadler once again in front of this group in the back.
And believe it or not, Rick, the cars at the tail end of this field right now, James Busher looks like he could be putting a little bit of a drag on these Joe Gibbs cars, believe it or not, trying to get caught up to them. You can actually put a little bit of drag on that group right in front of you.
So this is the lap. We'll see now that they're up to speed. Still in front of this group. The two of Brian Scott. He's pulling along the other 11 cars in this qualifying session. Chris Buescher, fastest that time by. Now it's Ryan Reed, who crashed in qualifying at Daytona.
Hey, how about who's up on top now? The Gibbs cars.
Wallace Jr., Sam Hornish Jr., Elliott Sadler. They jump to the top.
You know what that tells me? They have got some fast race cars. They are reeling this group in. Everybody got a little bit wide, and this is playing right into the Joe Gibbs' organization's hands.
This lap,
they're eating them up.
If they can find some room to get by, this lap is going to be good too, but they may run out of room.
Hey, I got a question. Do you think this Childers group right now deliberately kind of slowed down and let them catch them?
Right through the middle. Here comes Elliott Sadler leading the JGR group.
And, man, this is getting crazy. This is what you call crazy go nuts right now.
Darrell Wallace Jr. had the fastest lap last time by. Will he still this time by as they cross the stripe? Does Darrell Wallace Jr. hold on to the top spot? No, Sam Hornish Jr. now fastest.
Well, you hear what's being said. Pull up and let off. Pull up and let off. Those are the spotters and crew chiefs letting everybody know, look, we're good. We're good.
Look at the clock here. They're done anyway. They're not going to be able to start another lap. They're over on the backstretch.
Yeah, this lap would count if they would continue on. But the JGR guys said, we're not going to help. We're going to drop out.
Talking of playing games,
they
played the game and played it pretty well.
May have been the best at it.
Hey, that may have been what you call it, game and checkmate.
Checkmate, which what might have just happened in that chess match.
Yeah, this lap is going to count, but they lost the Gibbs guys that were pulling this group out front.
This is Chris Buescher out in front of this group. Brian Scott just behind him as they go through the trial. This lap will count, but probably won't be able to unseat Sam Hornish Jr. as the fastest lap. Sure enough, it's Sam Hornish Jr. 1, Elliott Sadler 2, Darrell Wallace Jr. 3. They played it perfectly.
How about Ryan Reed and Dakota Armstrong up in the top 5? Great job by those drivers.
Impressive run for JGR. Sam Hornish Jr. in that 54 will win the pole here at Talladega in knockout qualifying. Welcome back to Talladega, and welcome back Sam Hornish in the 54 in the middle of the JGR trio that diced their way through the pack to the fastest lap. Sam Hornish Jr. wins the pole for the nationwide race here at Talladega.
And Elliott Sadler did all the work. And the pole's going to go to Sam Hornish.
I'm getting ready to say it's amazing right there. The man up front right there did all the leading, and the guy who wound up winning it, well, they tucked them nice and tight.
He gets to start on the front row, Phil.
That's good.
He did a lot of work.
Yes,
he starts on the front row with Sam Hornish Jr., making his 100th start. The Nationwide Series, he gets his 6th pole. He's standing by with Bob Dillon.
Sometimes a plan does come together. I want to know, were you a believer in that game plan, and what did you think about threading the needle there?
I was a believer in the game plan until the end of the first session, and we really didn't get out of it what we thought we were going to, but really that was the kind of the trial run and allowed us to do what we really needed to do for the second two. And right there at the end with that 5-minute session, it's a game of chicken, and it's who's got the most patience to be able to sit there and wait. And the majority of the credit of that goes to the crew chiefs over here at JGR. So I'm real happy that debut in the Monster Energy Toyota Camry worked out well, and it's great to be over here at Joe Gibbs Racing. And it definitely takes 3 teammates to be able to do it today. And Elliott led the way, and I just kind of sat there and tried to maintain the gap between myself and Bubba and him.
Congratulations to Sam Hornish Jr. Ray Dunlap.
Elliott Sadler on the front row, and the teamwork obviously paid off there. Can we see that relate to the race? Oh, definitely. I mean, when you come to a place like Talladega, you definitely got to work together. And I mean, all the JGR cars did a great job, teams putting all that stuff together. But One Main Financial Toyota has been really fast since off the truck, just like it was at Daytona. But all the credit goes to my spotter, Brett Griffin. He did a great job calling the gaps, when to go, when it is nerve-wracking, when to go, who's going, he's going, that's not going. And he did a great job creating the gaps and the spacing and where we need to be to get the biggest tow from the roof. He did a great job and kept us all together, and we were able to put him 1, 2, 3. That's what we wanted. All right, Elliott Sadler with 7 top 10 runs in his last 9 plate races, guys.
Take a look at the grid. Hornich Jr. and Elliott Sadler making up row 1.
We were talking about how important the spotters were going to be, and Elliott Sadler gave a lot of credit to his spotter, Brett Griffin.
Yeah, he really did. Row back in row 6. We take a look at Landon Castle right there. Good effort by the 0-1 car and Johnny Davis.
Yeah, Jamie Dick back there in row 9. Good run for him.
Jeff Green, Mike Harmon back in row 13.
Row 16 is going to be real exciting. Casey Kane, as well as the guy who's won the last 2 restrictor plate
races. How about right here?
races.
How about right there?
Elliott, way back in row 19.
Yep. He's got teammates back there, guys.
That's right.
Derek Cope and Chad Boat missed the show for tomorrow's race. So pretty interesting day here at Talladega. Coming up next, it's Derek Jeter, a tribute on Fox Sports 1. And
he earned it.
Oh, most definitely.